Where are you in your rehab, and how are you feeling?
Feeling really good, honestly. I'm coming up on 10 months post TJ. I actually had to go in for a second procedure to get my nerve moved, and so that happened January 11th. But I'm feeling much better now. Like, it's incredible how much better I feel now. I should start playing catch in I think 2 weeks. I think it's March 7th, I believe. So yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm excited that all the guys are here. Yeah, just it's been good so far.
Had you played catch before the second operation?
Yeah, so I was throwing for, I think I was like 10 to 12 weeks into my throwing progression. Went up for kind of just a normal checkup, and yeah, saw some stuff had to be done. But yeah, just super excited to get back out there throwing.
How much does that second procedure did it set you back? And you think in terms of getting back in the
To
game?
be honest, not really too much. The goal for this season was just for me to be healthy and feeling good whenever that should be. And so, at this point, I'm not really thinking too much about a timeline. I'm more so just wanting to feel good. I know the organization just wants me to feel good and feel really confident that I'm ready to go. And so I think, like I said, there's no real timeline on coming back.
They haven't ruled out you pitching this year, though, right?
No, I don't think they've ruled it out, but I think at this point everybody just kind of wants to do what's best for me. I know the organization's been really good about wanting to do what's best for me, and so really I think it's on me when I feel ready to go.
When it happened in May, was it in a single pitch? I mean, what were kind of your emotions like? A, when it first happened, and B, did you kind of know right away that it was going to be Tommy John?
I think I kind of knew right away. I tried to kind of play it off for 3 weeks that it was. I think nobody wanted it to be TJ, but I think I personally knew it was TJ. I've had a partially torn ligament since I was like 15 or 16, and so it was honestly for me just a matter of time before something was going to happen. I was in a game, and I was throwing through it, but I was like, something just doesn't really feel right. I woke up the next day and I was like, yeah, this just ain't it. And so for like 3 weeks I kind of rehabbed it. My velo, nothing went down, but I was like, man, something just doesn't really feel right. Don't have 100% confidence. I threw against the Astros. Velo was there, everything was there. I think I threw 3 scoreless, but still I was like, it's not where I want it to be, and I don't want to go to Asheville if I'm not feeling like I can really contribute for the team. So yeah, when I got checked out, and I wasn't too struck, to be honest. Honestly, I didn't really think about it too much. I had a couple elbow problems when I was like 15, 16, and then I basically cleaned up my mechanics. I got a little bigger, got a little stronger, and I think the biggest thing was just kind of cleaning up my mechanics, putting myself in a good spot to throw. But yeah, I mean, I never felt anything, but I kind of always knew something was there, but it would never. They call it being asymptomatic. I was asymptomatic, something was in, but everything felt great.
You've gotten to know Ginn very well, and have you kind of like followed his lead in some of this stuff?
Yeah, no, JT's awesome. I mean, he was one of the first people I called after my parents, because he knew I was going to get an MRI, and I called him. I was like, man, how funny is this? Like, I'm joining you with the TJ gang. But yeah, I mean, he's been awesome just to be able to basically walk me through, like, you have tough days in rehab. It's not every day you're going to feel great. Not every day your range of motion is going to feel great. Lifting's going to feel great. Throwing, it's not reality. You're going to have tough days. You're expecting something that was not supposed to be there and now be, your new UCL and such. So he's just been awesome to be able to kind of walk me through, and days that I'm having bad days, be like, hey man, I've had plenty of those days. I'm still having those days, but like, you're going to get through it. So he's been awesome.
You mentioned Ginn a little bit. Just what strikes you about him as a pitcher? What do you like about him?
JT is just a dog. I mean, he cares about baseball, and that's it. He's very, he's a man of few words, but the words he's saying, you better pay attention. Really knows his stuff, but he's a quiet guy. Like, he goes about his business, and when you go up to him, you're like, man, like, you have so much knowledge, but you wouldn't necessarily know, because he just kind of keeps to himself. But I mean, that dude straight up just wants to compete, whether he's feeling it that day or he's kind of sore or whatever. I mean, he'll go out there and he'll give you his best 7 innings, and like, he's a dog. He just wants to be out there and be competing against the best of the best.
And he had the Tommy John, so you guys could probably compare notes a little bit too.
Yeah, we had the same surgeon too. We both went to Dr. Elatrosh.
Okay.
And so again, it's been really helpful to have him kind of go through the process and be able to compare, like, oh, I had this small hiccup or whatever, and be able to be like, hey, yeah, me too. It happens. Like, you got to move past it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean, JT's been awesome to have here.
Has the TJ rehab, not that it's easy, but has it been easier kind of knowing that you were almost waiting for the other shoe to drop in high school, knowing that you had a partially torn ligament Go through it?
Yeah, I mean, I think now it just gives me so much confidence because I know everything's great. Like when I went to go for my my follow up, Ella Trosh was like, "Dude, your ligament looks fantastic. Like this is I'm so happy," and that's really all that mattered to me because that's what's going to matter in the long run is how the ligament holds up. And I mean, he was ecstatic by how it looked, and so it's given me a lot of confidence just so far that again, every bad day that I have, every day I'm like, something doesn't really feel totally right. It's just like, hey, everything's all good. Definitely in the beginning, because in the beginning you're pretty limited to what you can do because you're trying to let the graft heal. You're in your sling, you're in the brace. Like it is pretty boring. You're doing a lot of monotonous things that they don't seem like it's a big deal, but you start to realize that those little things over a period of time that is honestly what matters when you're doing your wrist exercises and you're like, I got 20 of these, are you kidding me? Like I'm not doing anything. And then you just start to realize as that compiles, like you start to see again the big picture of how important that is. And so yeah, it's definitely boring, but again, with how good of a training staff we have, like I completely trust everything that they want me to do, and so far it's really worked out.
I know it's very common after Tommy John. Yeah. I'm blanking on the name of it, but did you have that common post-Tommy John nerve issue?
Ulnar nerve transposition?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Yep, I had that.
Like DeGrom, Matz, all those guys.
Yeah, again, it's something that it's not 100% common. It's not 100% normal, but it's common. I think mine happened a little sooner than people were expecting, but like I said, this is something that some doctors they move it right away, some don't, and so again at this point, like I feel as confident as ever. Everything is as structurally sound as it can be, and yeah, I mean I should be good whenever I'm ready.
When was your follow-up with El Trash that he gave you that really good feedback?
Probably like January 8th.
So right before,
yeah. I just stayed in California. My trainer Luke came out there with me. We got there on a Wednesday. I think my appointment was on a Thursday, and then I went in on Tuesday for surgery.
You still? I know you had worked out with DeGrom last offseason. You kept in touch with him or anything? Or?
So I was unable to kind of keep in touch with him this offseason. I wasn't at home at all for this offseason. I was just here rehabbing. Okay. I felt it was in my best interest to be here with the trainers that we have. I think us rehabbers are just so lucky to have the major league staff that we do and the minor league staff that we do. And so again, I felt it was in my best interest to do all my rehab here. Usually I would throw a bullpen or two at DeLand, which is where he throws. Yeah. I throw to Patrick Mazeika. I'll face some hitters. Good way to get kind of a tune-up before camp. But obviously this year, I felt it was in my best interest to be here with the trainers.
Okay.
I definitely want to pitch, but again, I think the biggest thing in my head is just I want to feel good. I know that I'm part of the future. I'm not really part of the right now for the organization, and that's 100%. That's where I want to be. I want to pitch in the big leagues for 10, 12 years. I don't want to pitch in the big leagues for a year and then go down with another injury. And so making sure that this whole thing goes right is on the forefront of everybody's mind, especially mine. So. Like I said, I feel awesome right now. I can't wait to play catch. I know, when I was throwing through TJ, it was going really, really well. Ball was coming out really hot. But I'm, even more excited to see how good I feel now.
I think if I remember correctly, even before this latest procedure, it was kind of murky whether you were going to pitch again this year.
Yeah.
Right? Because the Tommy John rehab is basically like 15 months now anyway. So that kind of pushes you right up against it anyway.
Yeah, again, I think anytime you go through a TJ rehab, the most important thing is making sure that the ligament heals properly and that you're feeling good, you're feeling strong, you're feeling confident, because there's really no point for someone of my age to push.
Right.
There's no point, there's no real gain, and so I think everybody kind of sees it that way, and that's kind of how, it took a little bit of time, because obviously as a competitor, someone as competitive as myself, all you want to do is pitch against hitters. All you want to do is start throw against bullpens, get hitters in the box. But I think as I've gotten a little older, matured, you just start to realize the bigger picture of baseball, that you don't want to pitch in AA and that's it. I want to pitch 10, 12 years in the big leagues, be a Hall of Famer, be someone like Jacob deGrom that people can remember.
Yeah.